All right. What's going on, everybody? Well, as everybody knows, Tyson Fury is fighting Tom Schwartz this Saturday, and Bob Arum and Frank Warren are the promoters of Tyson Fury. So, obviously, Bob Arum is going to be doing a lot of media, and he has been doing a lot of media, and he's been in front of the camera a lot this week, doing interviews with a lot of people. And anyone who's a person in boxing who's being interviewed by a boxing media member, of course, the topic of Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua is going to come up. That's a question that's definitely going to be asked. And every time the question's asked, Bob seems very dismissive of Andy Ruiz. And he went as far as saying, well, when we had Andy, we we thought he was an okay fighter, but we didn't really think he could punch. We thought he was slow on his feet. We thought he was ponderous. He even called him a slob at one point. Not during these interviews, but previously, I've read that he called him a slob before. And we all know how he treated Andrew Ruiz towards the end of Andrew Ruiz's contract with Arum. He shelved him, didn't give him fights anymore. And then Bob Arum was saying, well, he really wasn't giving Ruiz credit. He was saying that that wasn't the real Anthony Joshua in there. That was an imposter. So basically, it's just really dismissing Ruiz. To his credit, he did say Ruiz had fast hands, but said he couldn't punch. Uh, Said he wasn't great defensively. Said it was ponderous, like I said earlier, slow feet, whatever. Wasn't really a great boxer. He was just an okay boxer. And again, really kind of shitting all over Ruiz and not giving him credit for what he just did. And it's so funny because this is Bob Arum's MO. Every time he has a fighter, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then when they leave him, all of a sudden they become doo-doo. We've seen him do that with other fighters. We've seen him do that with Floyd. We've seen him do that with when Oscar De La Hoya kind of left him. They had their little battle when they were, Bob Arum versus Oscar, when they going head to head, fighting each other at HBO when as promoters. So it's just funny how Bob can get so salty as soon as he loses a fighter. All of a sudden, that fighter is a nobody. Now he even went as far as saying like Manny Pacquiao could get brain damage against Keith Thurman. I mean, where's this shit coming from? Not now that Manny Pacquiao's no longer with him. But here's the thing, people that actually have trained with Andrew Ruiz and actually have been in the ring with Andrew Ruiz, guys who really know Andrew Ruiz, who really worked with him up close, guys like Freddie Roach, who worked with Andrew Ruiz at the Wild Card Gym, said that Andrew Ruiz is one of the hardest punches he's ever worked with. When I hit the mitts, I could feel his power. Evander Holyfield sparred with Andy Ruiz. Said he's got the fastest hands that he's ever seen. And he said that was one guy that I would try to avoid if I knew a fight with him was going to be offered to me. Charles Martin, another guy who worked with Andy Ruiz and Kim, said he's a really, really good fighter, solid fighter. Big Baby Miller, another one. Joseph Parker said that Andy Ruiz was had a decent punch. Said he was a really good boxer. Said he was really fast. Joseph Parker's trainer, Kevin Barry, when Andy Ruiz used to spar Joseph Parker, he used to say that Joseph Parker had a hard time with him. That we looked at his body, we underestimated him, and we didn't realize how good of a boxer he really was. So all these people who actually are in the gym working with Andrew Ruiz and Joseph Parker who actually fought Andrew Ruiz. So these guys have an up close, experience with Andrew Ruiz, so they know how good he is. Bob Arum, what does Bob Arum know? What makes him an eye for talent, really? That's what he's got matchmakers for. That's what he's got other people doing that stuff for him. He's not a matchmaker. He's not an assessor of talent. So instead of just saying, "Wow, I was surprised that Andrew Ruiz won," but he's a good fighter, solid fighter, whatever. He goes and tries to slate him, and basically say that Anthony Joshua wasn't himself. That was an imposter. And then he's asked, well, who's going to win in the rematch? And he says that Andy Ruiz will win in the rematch. So if Anthony Joshua wasn't himself, so what are you saying now? That he's like mentally damaged forever? That he's never going to be himself again? That he can't bounce back from this? I don't know if he can or he can't. I think, in my opinion, I think it's a little too soon for a rematch. I think they should, put him in there with another fighter first and just kind of give him a build up fight. But it is what it is. But to sit there and say that Anthony Joshua won't be the same ever again is a stretch. So which one is it? Like you held Anthony Joshua in such high regard before this fight, and now that Andy Ruiz beats him, all of a sudden like he's nothing, and Andy Ruiz is nothing. So all this doesn't make sense to me. I just think it's a bad look for Bob Arum. It makes him look really salty because you must have thought that Andy Ruiz was talented at one point because you signed him to a promotional contract. So that's the thing. Like I did hear Andy Ruiz was going through some problems and at the time, and Bob Arum just basically said, "The hell with him. We're gonna cut him loose." So it's just crazy how guys who actually work with Andy Ruiz, guys who actually spar with Andy Ruiz, guys that actually fight Andy Ruiz, guys that know him in the gym. Everyone's saying that he's like, no one's saying he's a bad fighter. Everyone's giving him praise. A lot of people didn't pick him to win, but a lot of people did say that he could present problems for Joshua. I didn't think he had a snowball's chance in hell of winning. But I'll tell you one thing, I did think he was a better opponent on paper than Big Baby Miller. I thought he was a more skilled guy and a more accomplished guy than Big Baby Miller. You could argue he deserved the fight more than Big Baby Miller did. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Unrivaled. So, yeah, I just think that I just think it's bullshit. Give the guy some credit, show some class. Show some class. But that's how Bob is. That's how Bob is. If you're not with him, then he shits on you. No one that's ever left Bob has ever gotten compliments from Bob. Once Floyd left him, oh, he's a boring fighter. All he does is just stand there and doesn't throw punches. All he does there, plays defense the whole fight. What a boring fighter. Manny Pacquiao's going to knock him out. He's afraid of Manny Pacquiao. That's why he's not fighting Manny Pacquiao. And that's just how Bob is. That's just how Bob is. And then he hates on Al Heyman. Oh, Al Heyman won't work with us. He won't, make the big fights with us, blah, blah, blah. But what about, again, I made a video about this before. When Bob Arum had Cotto, he had Margarito, he had Pacquiao, he had Claudio, he had Marquez at the time too. He had a whole bunch of welterweights. And all he did, and he had Bradley too. What did he do? He made 4 fights with Pacquiao and Marquez. He made 3 fights with Pacquiao and Bradley. And basically, made fights with Cotto and Claudio. All he did was in-house fights when he had all the welterweights. He wasn't working with any other promoter. So this is just the hypocrisy of Bob Arum. This is the saltiness of Bob Arum. Because when he doesn't have a good thing, then no one else can have a good thing. He has to hate on the other people when they're doing well. But when he was in the same position, when he had all the welterweights, he didn't want to do cross promotions. He didn't want to do cross promotions. He was the king of in-house fights. But now all of a sudden he's taking shots at Al Heyman. And mind you, Andy Ruiz is an Al Heyman fighter. And he fought a non-Al Heyman fighter. They cross-promoted with Eddie Hearn. Fought on the Eddie Hearn show. Alida Alvarez signed to Top Rank. That's an Al Heyman fighter. Right? Vosdik, I believe, is a Top Rank fighter, if I'm not mistaken. But Adonis Stevenson. That's an Al Heyman fighter. So Bob and his hypocrisy, it just never ends, never stops. And Bob just sounds like a salty old man, sounds like a little kid that can't get his way. just because he doesn't have Ruiz anymore. Now all of a sudden he's trash. He's garbage. He's nothing. So I just think that Bob, you know, we know how Bob is. We just know how Bob is. So I just think that he should just give Ruiz some credit, man. Just give the guy his credit, you know. And let's not dig Anthony Joshua's grave just yet. You know what I'm saying? Let's wait and see what happens next. You know, he didn't look good in the first fight. Something looked wrong. Could this fight have broken him mentally? Could this fight have changed him? You know, every now and then we do see a fight happen in a fighter's career where he just ends up never being the same. We've seen those fights before. Where our fighter will just take a beat and he's just never the same after that fight. That happened before. But it's also happened that fighters come back from bad knockouts and bad defeats. What's up, Corey? How you doing, brother? So that's the thing. We have history has shown us both sides of the coin here. Fighters have come back, and sometimes they haven't. Sometimes they haven't come back. Some people say Cotto was never the same after Margarito, but he was able to come back and win titles after that. So Tommy Hearns got knocked out by Marvin Hagler, still went on to win more world titles. Roberto Duran got knocked out in 2 rounds, got knocked out cold by Tommy Hearns. Still was able to win more world titles after that. So Pacquiao knocked out cold by Marquez, still was able to win world titles after that and get the fight with Mayweather. You know, so fighters have come back from bad defeats. Now, that was kind of a one-sided. That was kind of a beating. It was somewhat one-sided. But again, let's see if Anthony Joshua's still young. He's still young. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because now I just would wonder and be curious if Bob Arum would be saying the same things about Ruiz now if he was still in the contract with Top Rank. That's what you guys got to ask yourself. From the 3rd round to the end, it was one-sided. So out of the 7 rounds, 5 of the rounds were one-sided, in my opinion. Igloo. That's just my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree with me. I still gave Ruiz the first 2 rounds, too. That's funny. Pierre Arias says Arum is like Robbie. Once they leave him, he turns his back on them. You know, this is the thing, too. Yeah, some people didn't give Ruiz the first 2 rounds. My friend D-Style gave Joshua the first 2 rounds. My friend D-Style had the fight close, actually. I didn't. I only gave Joshua the 5th round on my card. Some people gave Joshua the first 2 rounds. Some people gave one of the first 2 rounds to Joshua, one of them to Ruiz. Yeah, I guess the scoring can be all over the place. I just didn't think that one judge had Joshua up by a point. I just didn't think Joshua was up by a point. You could have had it close, but there was no way Joshua was up in that fight at the time of the stoppage, in my opinion. I just didn't see it that way. Got a feeling though the rematch is going to be back in New York. I got a feeling. And Hearn said that he would announce the where and the when by the end of this week, and I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I think we're not going to get an answer till probably the end of the month. That's how I see it. Yeah, you could be right. That's a fair argument, Igloo. You could be right. It's a fair point. The first 2 rounds were competitive, you know. But you have to ask yourself, like, why wasn't he able to come back from that one shot? You know what I mean? It's just weird. Like Ruiz got hit with an uppercut and a left hook and went down, then got up and got hit with a monster right hand. Why was Ruiz able to recover and Joshua wasn't? That's the thing. That's the thing. And it's funny too, though, because Povetkin hit Joshua with a vicious right hand, and he hurt him, and he was able to handle the shot. He looked shaky in that Povetkin fight, but he was able to come back and knock Povetkin out. So it's just kind of weird. Maybe he just couldn't get a read. He couldn't get a read on Ruiz's punches. He couldn't get a read on the rhythm. And like the red glove Militant said, the worst punches are the ones you don't see coming. Maybe he just couldn't anticipate what was coming at him, and he wasn't ready for it, and he wasn't able to brace himself for the shot. And the shots did more damage because he didn't expect them. He didn't expect them. He didn't see them coming. So that's maybe why Ruiz was able to hurt him more so than he was able to hurt Ruiz. I mean, he proved he can hurt Ruiz. He proved he can hurt Ruiz too, but Ruiz proved that he could take the power. That's the thing. And a lot of people are saying that Anthony Joshua needed to fight Ruiz on the outside. Well, Anthony Joshua is more of a mid-range guy, though. He's more of a mid-range guy. Likes to throw those mid-range hooks and uppercuts. He's not really a great outside fighter because he likes to come forward and fight you in the mid-range. So, thing was, is Ruiz got in deep in the pocket, deep where he could get up underneath Joshua's shots and kind of smother the power. Anthony Joshua needed to kind of slide back, needed to, slide back and jab his way out and create space. He needed to kind of push Ruiz. I think Joshua's got to get a little more physical with Ruiz when Ruiz comes close and gets deep in that pocket. He's got to grab him, walk him back, push him off, and create space and create just enough space where he could land those hooks and uppercuts like he likes to throw. He's got to keep this fight in the mid-range. He can't let Ruiz beat him on the inside. That's the thing. One punch that could be a great weapon for Joshua is the uppercut. Because when Ruiz gets low and gets up underneath the jab, that's when Anthony Joshua's got to come up underneath himself and throw like those uppercuts and those half hook, half uppercut, 45-degree angle type punches. That's what needs to be done in the rematch. And he needs to lean on him, grab him. He's got to bring a little bit of Vladimir Klitschko with him into the fight in the rematch. See how Vlad would just grab you, lay on you, make you tired. Once you lay on a guy, you grab his arms and you lean on him. You put all that weight on him. Then at some point during the fight, his arms are going to get so tired because you keep leaning on him, and he's not going to be able to throw quick combinations like that. So when you're not punching on the inside, you got to grab him, hold him, and lean on him, and walk him back, and put all your body on him, all your body weight on him, and just make it rough and tumble for the guy. Even Wilder, when he gets hurt, he grabs. Got hurt against Ortiz. He grabbed Ortiz. He slowed down the action. Gave himself enough time to regroup and gather himself. You guys think Andy's going to be heavier in the rematch, or you think he's going to be lighter? I think he's going to come in lighter. I bet you Andrew Ruiz comes in at like 250 in the rematch. Both Klitschko and AJ have chin issues. Klitschko solved this problem by being smart and developing his jab. How will AJ do it? I don't know. Do you guys think that they should bring someone else into the camp? Like, because Teddy Atlas was doing a good breakdown of what went wrong, and he was talking about Anthony Joshua. And he thinks a lot of it was mental. And just like when Teddy Atlas trained Michael Moore was a guy who had kind of head issues. He was kind of a guy that was hard to stay, keep focused and make him stay focused. But Atlas was able to kind of get inside Michael Moore's head. You think they should bring like someone like Teddy Atlas into the camp to kind of settle Anthony Joshua down, kind of calm him down, give him some confidence. You know what I mean? He needs like He needs like a guy who can, get inside him, get inside his head, and kind of build his confidence up, and kind of dissect mentally what went wrong. Let him know that, instill that confidence in him. Make him feel that there's nothing wrong. This is just part of the sport. You gotta come back. You gotta stay relaxed in there. You can't lose your head. Settle him down. Think Teddy Atlas would be a good addition to that team? Because I'm not saying they got to get rid of Rob McCracken. I'm saying maybe they need to just bring someone else in there so they can maybe fine tune a few things. I don't know if AJ was weak mentally. He kind of did look like something was bothering him. Like when he got hurt, like he was in the corner, he was second guessing himself. Like he was like, what's he gonna do? How's he gonna come out? Like he just didn't seem confident in himself. Maybe Teddy Atlas can instill that confidence in him mentally. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, he's always looked like this. He's always been big like this, Igloo. I mean, I just don't see him coming in at fucking 230. I just don't see this guy getting that much lighter. It's hard to lose muscle. It's hard to lose muscle. Imagine if that was Luis Ortiz. Guys, if that was Luis Ortiz in there, do you think he would have done the same thing Andrew Ruiz did? How do you think that fight would have played out? That would have been interesting, huh? There's rumors floating around that AJ is going to fire McCracken, says Reese Mack. Where'd you hear that? I heard just the opposite. I'm not crazy about Abel Sanchez. Never been an Abel Sanchez fan. Yeah, but I think you should bring somebody in. Someone to fine tune him. That's right, Red Glove Militant. We need sources. Can't just say there's rumors out there. Where'd you hear the rumors? I like Breadman at Edwards too, yeah. Everything I've heard has been that AJ will be loyal to McCracken, but I think he should bring in someone too. That's what I heard, Igloo. Yeah, he's been loyal. They don't want to blame Rob for that. They don't want to blame Rob McCracken for anything, really. Needs Chris Eubanks trainer, says Alex T. Thank you, Al Heyman. Yeah, I don't like Abel. Abel's too full of himself. Abel's too full of himself. He's definitely too full of himself. Yeah. But I'm just curious to see how the whole thing plays out. I'm curious to see when this rematch is going to get announced. I'm curious to see if the sanctioning bodies are going to play any part in this, if they're going to do any stripping. And I'm just real interested in what's going on behind the scenes with the WBO. Tyson Fury saying that stuff, and the video I made yesterday about the whole Bob Arum, Frank Warren thing with the WBO. And then Manny Robles coming out and saying it could be Joshua or it could be somebody else. That was fucked up. I didn't know. I was like surprised when I heard him say that. I was really surprised when I heard him say that. I wasn't expecting that. But Hearn's out there still doing interviews, but he's hush hush. He's hush hush about the rematch. He hasn't confirmed anything yet. You know. Well, the big knock on McCracken is, I guess, he trained him as an amateur, and for some reason now everyone's saying that it's bad if you stay with the same trainer that trained you as an amateur as a pro. I don't know. So what's that mean? Like that Rob McCracken can only train amateurs, he can't train pros? What other fighters does McCracken? What other fighters does McCracken train? Like what other big names does McCracken train any other champions right now? Because I'll be honest, I haven't really done that much research on Rob McCracken. I remember he's a pretty good boxer. I remember that. I thought he was a decent fighter, but I don't know, man. Like who else does McCracken train? Any of you got UK guys? Can you name me any other champions he trains? I remember he trained Froch, but other than right now, like who else has he trained? I knew he trained Froch, but who else? Who else is he like? Froch is gone. He's retired now. Who else has he trained? Just AJ? What other champions? What other champions does he train right now, McCracken? You know, no one. Just AJ. Just AJ and some prospects, right? Yeah. So it's sort of like, no disrespect, but Virgil Hunter, right? He trained Andre Ward. He had great success with Andre Ward. But that's another guy. Like he was with Virgil Hunter was with Andre Ward his whole career, even as an amateur, and they still had a great relationship, even up until the end, right? Until Ward retired. But you can argue that Virgil Hunter never had that same success with anyone else that he had with Ward. That's the thing. Never trained any like he trained other champions, but I don't think. No, I don't think. What other champions did he train? Like, because when guys came to him, they didn't have titles. Like Berto didn't have a title when he came to him. Amir Khan didn't have a title. I'm not taking calls today, bro. I don't have blog talk set up. No, sorry. Sorry. I'm not taking calls today, bro. Shut it down, Eric. You know better than that. You're a professional. Eric, better than that. Come on now. You know better than that. You're a professional. You know you're not supposed to play the show in the background. All right. So we saw the McCracken rumor from a world breaker fighting video streamed a few hours ago. So it's gotta be BS. We saw the McCracken rumor from a world breaker. Eric, what are you doing here? Come on. All right. Eric was trying to come on. For whatever reason, he's having issues. Yeah. Derek James, Ronnie Shields, Robert Garcia. Those are all decent trainers. Those are all decent trainers. Those were all really good, decent trainers. So what's gonna happen this Saturday, man? It's like here's the thing. Here's the thing with Tyson Fury right now. Like he just seems like I don't know. He seems too relaxed, too happy. He's sitting there playing like shaking Tom Schwartz's hand. They're palling around during the press conference. I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like Fury's like really up for this fight. And I hope there's not going to be a letdown in this fight. I just hope he's ready. They got him up here in a mansion. They got him like he's in like a Las Vegas mansion right now. He's chilling, he's having a good time. It's just like, I don't know. Whenever there's no sense of urgency, like there's no concern, like whenever there's not a threat, for a fighter, sometimes that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing, you know? They're sitting there posing at the press conference yesterday. They're hugging each other, shaking each other's hands. How do you be so friendly with the guy and then you got to jump in the ring and you got to fight him? That's kind of crazy. Schwartz is kind of slow though. He's kind of slow. On paper, he's in way over his head. We can't even like. And Bob Arum said the craziest thing the other day. He said Schwartz was better than friggin' Andy Ruiz. He said Schwartz would beat Andy Ruiz. He said he's a tougher opponent than Andy Ruiz is. That's more fucking hate from Bob Arum. He's a fucking hater. He's just a fucking hater. He's like a big time hater. Yeah, I don't think Schwartz is better than Ruiz either. Bob Arum just shitting all over Ruiz, man, left and right. Shitting all over Ruiz left and right. You know, I'm getting really, really excited for the White Rivas fight. I will tell you that. I will tell you that. Yeah, he's supposed to lie, Bob Arum. All promoters lie, man. That's why when I try to tell you guys that all promoters lie, and you think you get all mad, like you just like guys get mad because you're like, oh, Eddie doesn't lie. Eddie doesn't lie. It's like, yes, he does. He's a fucking bullshit artist. Bob's a bullshit artist. They're all bullshit artists. Bob's a liar. Fucking Oscar's a liar. Eddie's a liar. Problem is, Eddie just he does too many fucking interviews. That's the problem. How many likes we got here? How many likes do we got here? Because we got 30 people in the chat. We only got 13 likes. Come on, guys. Let's get the fucking likes up. Come on. Well, I think Rivas is very live in that fight. I think Rivas is live. That's a tough one to pick, though. That's a tough one to pick. Who's gonna win, White versus Rivas? What do you guys like in that one? What do you guys like in that one? I think I'm gonna lean towards White. I'm gonna lean towards White. A lot of people are picking Rivas though. Centurion Sons got Rivas. Wow, it's like a 50-50. It's like a 50-50. There's a lot of people picking Rivas, man. Wow, Kiko says he's gonna knock him. He's gonna knock him out. Salute to you too, Brendan Turner. I kind of want to pick Rivas, but I don't know. I'm gonna lean towards White. I'm gonna lean towards White in this one. Be a tough one, but I'm gonna lean towards White. Wow, Pedro likes Rivas too. Let's check the odds for that fight. Let's see if we can pull the odds up for Rivas White. See if White is worth. Let's see if Rivas is worth the value play here. In 1 second, we're gonna pull up those. Let's see what we got here. White versus Rivas. Wow, this the Tabiti Dorticos fight's very close. Tabiti's a plus 130. The Dorticos is a slight favorite. Oh, the Kid Galahad fight is on fucking ESPN Plus. Josh Warrington's a big favorite. He's a minus 310. I think Warrington's gonna win. ESPN Plus got a lot of good fights on Saturday, man. A lot of good fights. Fucking Tyson Fury's a minus 2,500. What a fucking shit fight that is. Oh, and we got Sullivan Barrera versus Jesse Hart. Oh, it's a tough fight for Jesse Hart. He's like a 2-1 favorite in that one. I think Daniel Dubois is gonna beat. Oh wow, White's a big favorite, man. He's a wow. If anyone likes Oscar Rivas, he's a plus 430. Wow. 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 That's crazy. Oscar Rivas is a plus 430. You kidding me? He's worth the value play. Caleb Plant's a minus 2525. 2,525. You kidding me? Now, if Tyson Fury, it says here, it says the bout must take place by December 31st, 2019. Deontay Wilder is a minus 125, and Tyson Fury is a minus 105. So Deontay Wilder is a slight skin of the rat's ass, skin of the hair on a rat's ass favorite against Tyson Fury. He's a small favorite against Tyson Fury. Ohio. I think Rivas is going to get caught in some exchanges up close. And I can see White landing that left hook and ending things. I really can. Because Rivas isn't that hard to hit. He's a guy that's going to come right at him. The guy's going to come right at him. White's not going to have to go looking for him. And those are the type of opponents that Dillian White loves. Just like Chisora came right at Dillian White. What happened? He got caught and boom, it was over. Once you make Dillian White start looking for you, that's when he has problems. He ain't going to have that type of problem with Rivas on Saturday. It's not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Rivas will be there to be hit. I don't think Galahad's going to win, man. I like Josh Warrington. I got a feeling Galahad's going to get stopped. Probably going to get stopped in like eight or 9 rounds. He gets hit too much too. What's my John Doe says I hit the like button. Should at least give me like a $2 super chat for that one. That's a big question. That's like a super chat question. That's at least a $2 super chat question. Let's get the super chats in here. Doing a show every day. Doing a show every day here. Sometimes twice a day. 3 times a day. Let's get the super chats up. All right. So he says, Beeb loves Tyson Fury. What's your opinion on a 2-year suspension? Him and his brother Fernando alone. I'm a Fury fan also. Would love to know your opinion. I guess he appealed it, and I guess they cleared him. But I got an opinion. I got a feeling that he took the stuff. I can't prove he took the stuff, but I got a feeling because he was in a fucked up state of mind. So he was already doing cocaine and shit. So I wouldn't put it past him for him to do nandrolone too. And nandrolone is usually a lot of these boxes. People think be putting in that work. I like it. Thank you, Igloo. Thank you for the super chat. A lot of people think people are taking these drugs just to get a performance edge, but a lot of athletes take the drugs just so they can recuperate because they just so they can deal with injuries. Like Mark McGuire, when he got busted for steroids, he goes, the only reason why I took the steroids is to keep me on the field, to help me out with my injuries. So in a case like taking nandrolone, maybe he was trying to recover from something. I'm not absolving him for doing it, but guys take HGH, they take DECA. They're usually having joint issues. Like Big Baby Miller had some problems with his elbow, so he decides to take HGH. Instead of getting a cortisone shot, the fucking guy takes HGH. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, HGH isn't going to give you a performance benefit. That's going to help you recover faster from, which in itself can give you a performance boost, but it's not going to make your reflexes better. It's not going to make your punch resistance better. I mean, but to be fair, I mean, he probably should have got some type of suspension. 2-year suspension is too long. I probably would have given him 6 months. That's what they give everybody else the first time they get busted. 6 months, right? So I probably would have given him I probably would have given him a 6-month suspension. But I gotta follow up on that. I gotta go back and read that because I guess he was gonna sue the British board or whatever. Or what's the drug testing agency in the UK? Guess he was gonna sue them, and then they kind of backed off and they kind of backed down. I don't know what happened. I heard he was going to sue them, and then I guess he was going to win because they're trying to say he was trying to say that it was. I think he was trying to say it was in a supplement or something, and he had proof. I have to go back and actually read about that whole thing. I didn't really read too much about it because he was retired anyways. Like he took the time off anyway, so I knew he was going to be out. So I didn't even really. I got to go back and look at that. I got to go back and look at that. Oh, so he did. So they both did serve 2 years. Backdated him and his brother. Yeah, but what about him? Didn't he appeal it or something? And wasn't he going to sue them? And what happened with all that? Thank you, Ohio runs boxing. I appreciate that so much. Love the show, guys. Always supporting. Awesome. Thank you, Kiko. So he did serve the 2 years. Okay. I wasn't sure. I wasn't. I mean, he was out for a while, anyways. But I didn't know that he was suspended for 2 years. I didn't realize he was suspended. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was suspended. So explain to me what happened when he was threatening to sue them. Like, what was the whole deal with that? I'm just confused about that. Then we get guys like Ralphie. Fury said to the board that he's not an animal. Yeah. Then we get guys like Ralphie was saying that the IBF stripped him because he failed a drug test. The IBF stripped him because he didn't fight their mandatory. And then all that drug controversy came afterwards, from what I understand. That's from what I understand. So, yeah. So what else? What other big news is out there, guys? Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anyone want my opinion on any other fights? All smoke and mirrors. I'm a Fury fan, but him and his brother tested positive. They were up for 3 years, so the ban was back. All right. Again, I don't really know the whole story, so I'll have to go back. I'll take your word for it because I haven't done any. I honestly haven't done that much research on it, to be perfectly honest with you. Really haven't. So is that why you think a lot of that depression set in because of all the other bullshit that was going on in his life? Is that why he took was that whole depression thing legit, or was that just because of the whole drug thing? That's another question we got to ask. I'm sure there was some validity to the depression, but was it a byproduct of him testing positive? Can Chocolatito make a comeback? I don't think so. That's a guy who was never the same after the Rungvisai fight. Chavez Jr. Sergio Martinez has no business boxing. His legs are gone. His legs are fucking gone. Is that fight even going to happen? Sergio Martinez versus Chavez Jr.? I don't even think that's going to happen. I doubt very seriously that's going to happen. Guys think that's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen. Guys think it's going to happen? Okay. When's it supposed to happen? The Zone's going to show it? Oh my God. Shame on the Zone. Shame on the Zone for showing that fight. Anthony Scott says, no, he wasn't suspended. He was out because of mental illness and was totally cleared of everything and was taken the British board to court for stripping his belts and unfair treatment. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard, Anthony Scott. That's what I heard. So I don't know. Some people are saying that it was a drug issue. It's why he stopped fighting. Other people are saying it's because of the mental health issues. So I don't know. I got Pacquiao. I'm gonna do a video on why I got Pacquiao. When the fight gets closer, I'm gonna do a breakdown on that fight. So that fight's gonna happen in October. Sergio Martinez versus Chavez Jr. Maybe coming off PEDs, your levels are lower than your levels are lower than alcohol and coke. Into that, anyone would be depressed. I'm Irish, and we know all about alcohol and depression. Sergio Martinez versus Chavez Jr. says Igloo. He's laughing. He's laughing about it. You know, Pacquiao's 40, right? And he's lost a step. But even with that, he's still a force to be reckoned with. I would pick him over any welterweight in the world except for Crawford and Spence. I think he can beat any. I think he can beat any welterweight in the world except for Crawford and Spence. I thought Porter lost against Ugas too, man. And there's another guy, Thurman. Just he seems to be on the decline right now. His head doesn't seem to be in it anymore. To be perfectly honest with you, that's a guy that I find myself questioning if he still wants it. Honestly, yeah, I'm pulling for Pac in that fight too. Pac's a slight underdog in that fight too. Fight Doctor came on late. We were talking about how Bob Arum is being a hater towards Andrew Ruiz Jr., talking all types of trash now that he doesn't have him in his stable anymore, giving him no credit for beating Anthony Joshua, basically saying Anthony Joshua that was in there that night was an imposter. For those who came on late, and I was just talking about how all these other trainers that work with Andrew Ruiz, all the fighters that spar with him, Joseph Parker, they all said that Andrew Ruiz can fight, he can punch, he's a good boxer. He's been to Holyfield said he had the fastest hands he's ever seen in the ring. But all these fucking people like Bob Arum who never took a punch in their life, never threw a punch in their life, they want to talk shit about Andrew Ruiz. Yeah, that press conference was corny, man. It was fucking corny as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Arum said Spence versus Crawford's next. Well, Spence looks he seems kind of pissed right now because he wants another pay-per-view fight, and if they're saying that if he fights Porter, it's not going to be on pay-per-view, but yet I heard that they're going to put Mikey Garcia versus Danny Garcia on pay-per-view, and I think that's pissing Spence off. So I wonder if that's going to make Spence kind of reassess his situation without him. Thank you, Runs Boxing. Appreciate that so much. Yeah, that's what Bob does do the most. Does hate. It's like he hated, like I was talking about earlier, Fight Doctor. He hated on Floyd when Floyd left him. Then once Oscar De La Hoya became a promoter, he started fucking hating Oscar De La Hoya. Hates Mike, talks all types of shit about Mikey Garcia now that he's not with Mikey Garcia. Then he went as far as saying, "Oh, Pacquiao could suffer a brain damage if he fights Thurman." Get the fuck out of here. I mean, obviously anyone could suffer brain damage in the ring, but Pacquiao can hold his own against Keith Thurman, man. Puerto Rico versus Mexico or Mexican American makes numbers, says Stuffs. Yes, Fosshaus. Evander Holyfield said Ruiz had much faster hands than he did when they sparred once. Yep. That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm not crazy about Mikey versus Danny on pay-per-view, but of course I'll buy it. I mean, what don't I buy? What fights don't I buy on pay-per-view? I'd definitely buy it. You know me, I buy everything, guys. B buys everything. I buy everything. Puerto Rico versus Mexican and Mexican American make numbers. Hey guys, anyone know what Jason's Twitter is? I think it's Heyman at Heyman TBE. Yeah, I'm gonna buy Paulie Lobov. Is that on pay-per-view too? How do you get that? Yep. Fight Doctor says guides leave Bob and make fortunes. I wonder why. Yeah, I am addicted to the sport. It's pretty sad. I bought Roy Jones versus Bobby Gunn too. That's how fucking sick I am. That was like fucking. I think that was like $9-10. I bought it though. Yeah, Spence Porter's a much better fight than Garcia versus Garcia, without question. That's a great fight, Spence. But now Kenny Porter's saying that Sean signed the contract, Spence didn't. Spence is mad. Spence is pissed it's not on pay-per-view. He's pissed off. Spence wants it on pay-per-view. He's aggravated. He's pissed off. He's not happy. Not fucking happy right now about that. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You're gonna have to have a sit down with Uncle Al and kind of work that out, figure that out. Gotta figure it out, dude. Andrew Reese does VADA, but Anthony Joshua still hasn't done VADA. Anthony Joshua still has not signed up for VADA. What's going on, Mark? How you doing, brother? Spence don't have that clout. We'll see. We will see for sure. We'll figure it out. We'll get to the bottom of it. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I think we pretty much covered a lot of stuff. Don't forget to tune in to the live cast on Saturday. We're definitely going to do a live cast on Saturday for Fury versus Schwartz. So make sure you check that out. One more question by Centurion Son. He says, who do I got? Lobov versus Paulie. Who am I picking? I'm going to pick Paulie. Lobov gets hit an awful lot. I don't think Paulie's going to have too much problems with him. But I'm concerned about Paulie not having gloves on. You're so welcome, Red Glove Militant. No problem. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm just concerned about Paulie's hands. I mean, he was breaking his hands with gloves on. Now he's not going to be fighting without gloves on. How's his hands going to hold up to that? So I'm just curious to see that. But I still got to ride with Paulie on that one. All right, guys. Till next time, Beaver's out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great night, and we will see you later. Peace.